the Dhamma is greater than the happenings around you. This is very good. In fact, I had given some thoughts whether I should come back this morning. 2 nights ago, when I was in Singapore, I was invited to Johor Bahru for a talk at the new building of Metta Lodge. And then they informed me of the tensions here in Kuala Lumpur, and they told me whether I would decide to postpone my trip here so that I could stay longer in JB. And well, I told them, never mind. And so whatever it may be, it's always the news that we hear. In fact, when you read the newspaper, and we can't take everything. You know, this morning when I arrived here, early morning from JB, and from the airport, we see everything very quiet, very peaceful. And so in Sri Lanka, I'm sure many of you have heard about the news in Sri Lanka that people are being shot and bombs are here and there. You have heard, isn't it? And some 2 years ago, or was it last year? 2 years, Yes, 2 years ago, it was almost in the height of the tension there. And a group had been organized from Singapore to go and visit, to have a pilgrimage in Sri Lanka. But somehow or other, when they heard the news, they chickened out. But 13 of them were brave enough to come, and I happened to be the 13th one. And so we left, and as usual, we got very good treatment there. This is what happens when people hear rumors. And we are very fortunate actually to live in a place whereby our leaders we are peace-loving, and so when problems arises, it has to be nipped in the bud. So these peacekeeping forces, and you can reinforce. All of you, each and every one, have an important role to play in bringing about peace and harmony in the country. But this peace and harmony starts actually not from outside. It starts from inside us. About a month ago, or a little more than a month, I had been invited when I was in Australia to address a seminar organized by the staff student committee of the social work department in the University of Sydney. They organized a seminar on war and peace, and invited the different religious representatives to give their views about war and peace. And so I went there to speak about the Buddhist view about war and peace. Of course, it's very clear from the teachings of the Buddha. And the Buddhist concept of peace is also very clearly embodied in the preamble to the UNESCO Charter of Human Rights. And in the preamble to the UNESCO Charter of Human Rights, it is stated very clearly that as war begins in the minds of men, we should, in order to overcome war, to get rid of war and conflicts, we have to build defenses of peace in the minds of men. And because all wars, all conflicts begins in the minds. And if we listened by listening to what others say, and if we work up ourselves, our minds, and allow the defiling tendencies of greed, craving, hatred, delusion to arise in the mind, then our minds will become very much troubled. When there is trouble in this mind, it will then manifest into speech and bodily action. Hence, that speech and bodily action will also be not of a harmonious nature. So when there is conflict in one's mind, that conflict will influence others. We can understand this when we live within a society, within a community, or even within small groups. When somebody, say if we live with 100 person living, or just all of you who are here now, if anyone become hysterical, begin to laugh and begin to cry and begin to shout out, what will happen to the rest? You will begin to be affected by that hysteria. And unless, of course, those of you whose mind have been well trained, then you will not be affected by that. So it seems that all of you who are here have got your mind somewhat well trained, and to be not so much affected by what is happening outside. It is not that we are not concerned for what is happening. We are concerned, but we should not be affected, and we should not be emotionally moved by that. By being emotionally moved by what is happening around, we will not be able to solve problems. But by looking in and maintaining that calmness and quietness in our mind, and all problems can be solved where there is calmness, where there is wisdom. Calmness and wisdom. So calmness is a very important factor for us to develop. All conflicts arises in the mind. And what are the roots of it? Do you know? You must have heard this again and again. That evil roots, the three evil roots, greed, craving, desires. That's the first evil root. Hatred, aversion, anger, and they are related to jealousies, envy. All these belong to one family, coming from the root of hatred and aversion. And the other root is that of delusion, confused state of mind, ignorance. When there is ignorance, there is confusion, there is delusion. Where there are these three unwholesome roots, all the other unwholesome, unskillful thoughts, speech and action arise from them. And these unskillful thoughts, speech and actions are those thoughts, speech and action which directly or indirectly brings about tension in our minds. So, the study and practice of Buddhism actually begins and also ends with the confronting of these unwholesome tendencies. To practice Buddhism, to put into practice the teachings of the Buddha, means to confront these defiling tendencies again and again, and not to feed them. But we always feed this. We feed our desires. On the dining table, how often we feed our desires. We like that food, very good taste, and we keep on feeding. But there are those who know how to restrain and says enough. That mind that is able to say enough, then that is restraint. Although it is so pleasant for the tongue, it is so sweet, or sweet and sour, it is so tasty. The body says, go ahead, and the mouth wants some more, but the mind says, enough. If there can be this kind of restraining force, then that is where the restraint lies, the restraining force to overcome greed, to overcome the strong craving tendencies. Similarly, when there are various conditions, various causes around that arouse aversion, anger, hatred in the mind, if we can check, if we can calm down this mind and free this mind from anger and aversion, by what? By the practice of loving kindness. Then we are practicing the Dhamma, because we are not giving in to the defiling tendencies of anger. But if we choose to allow that anger to blow up, then we are actually giving in to that defiling tendency. We are feeding that defiling tendencies. We are making it stronger. So the next time it will come up in with stronger force, with stronger energies. But when we start to reduce it, we start to observe and confront it, slowly it will weaken. Little by little it will weaken. So those who get very angry, who get very upset, and maintain that anger in their minds, for some people maintain few days, few months, few years, some even maintain the whole lifetime. Not one lifetime, life after life. Like the story of Devadatta. Do you know the story of Devadatta? You know who Devadatta was? Devadatta was actually during the lifetime of the Buddha, when the Buddha was born as Prince Siddhartha Gautama, Devadatta was born also as a prince. He was none other than the cousin of the Buddha. But because of the anger, because of the grudge, then he had maintained towards the Buddha for many, many births, many, many lifetimes, that even in the last birth, the last life of the Buddha, Devadatta came to take revenge, came to disturb, to pursue. He even tried to kill the Buddha. When the Buddha was getting old, and by that time, of course, the Buddha, his fame, his popularity, he became very well known. He had many disciples, and Devadatta had approached the Buddha and asked the Buddha, now, what happened? What will happen? Now you have so many disciples, so many devotees, and now you are getting old. Now, what happens when you die? Nobody. Why don't you appoint somebody to look after your disciples? Just like a pope, to look after all the other disciples. The Buddha says, no. I will not appoint any one person to give them the authority to give orders and command. So the Buddha did not want that kind of authority. Later on, the Buddha explained very clearly what happens when he dies. He says, my teachings will be your master. In other words, that is why we take refuge in the Buddha and we take refuge in the Dhamma, his teachings. In the absence of the all-enlightened Buddha, as he is not physically present before us, we go to his teachings as refuge. We go to his teachings for shelter and refuge, for guide and protection. As we are not able to understand his teachings all the time, so we turn to the Sangha, the spiritual community, those who have been taught, those who have been trained. That is why we also take refuge or go for refuge to the Sangha. Hence we go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha. So Devadatta, when the Devadatta heard this, he was not pleased because he wanted to be the leader. He wanted to take after the Buddha, to become the leader of the community. So when the Buddha did not give in, he got very angry with the Buddha. He tried to kill the Buddha. He knew when the Buddha was going on for his alms round. So from the top of the mountain, the top of the hill, he would roll a big rock. But the Buddha was such, having perfected his virtues, having perfected, developed his paramis or paramitas, that his virtues were so strong that nothing can kill him. Nothing can really kill him. Although that rock that fell down did hurt him a little bit, a splinter hit his toe, it bled. And of course he was well taken care of by the physician. The physician of the king, Jivaka, looked after the Buddha. But although the body was slightly injured, there was no suffering. For him, for the Buddha, and for all those who have freed their minds from all forms of craving, although their bodies are subject to decay, to pain, their minds are free from pain. Their minds are totally free from suffering. So, if we try to trace back the life of the Buddha and trace back the events, what actually happened during their past lives that conditioned them conditioned Devadatta to take revenge and to harbor anger and hatred towards the Buddha. So strong was his anger and grudge. He had actually carried it from life to life. And somewhere in the Jataka, in the Dhammapada too, we can find some stories. And they trace back to the time when there's a very interesting film or video. I do not know whether any one of you have seen. We saw it in Australia. It is in Sinhalese, the video made of the life of the former lives of the Buddha and Devadatta. Devadatta was, in one of his many past lives, he was born and he grew up to become a merchant. And his merchandise, he was selling bangles. He was selling bangles. But he was a very greedy person. He went about, he got bangles at very cheap price, and he goes to the village to sell at higher price. And when he sees some children, he will show them to the children and make them like that bangles and then follow them. Naturally, the children will run to their homes and ask their parents to buy those bangles. So there was this one incident when he managed to entice, he managed to tempt one small girl with some beautiful bangles. and allowing her to use it, to try on her and see how beautiful and so on. And then after that he says, no, you must pay for it, otherwise you bring out, I have... So this small girl, at first she thought that bangle seller had given her free, you see. So she clung to it, and she ran to the grandmother. The grandmother had no money, but this grandmother loved his granddaughter so much, wanted to please her. And so this bangle seller came and demanded a lot of money. But the grandmother had no money. So what she had was, she looked around and she saw there was a pot. There was a cooking pot, which she used for cooking. It was actually a golden pot. But because she had used for cooking, it was dirty. So she told the bangle seller, you can take this pot of gold and give the bangles to my granddaughter. Then what happened to this bangle seller? He looked at that pot and he pretended to scratch, and after scratching he knew that it was gold. But he did not want to tell that old woman that it is real gold. So what he did was, he had in his cunning mind, he said, I will get this pot at very cheap price. So what he did, in front of that old woman, she took the pot and she threw down and said, this is worthless. Not even worth these bangles. I can't give you these bangles for this pot. It is not gold. It is, worthless. So this poor old woman was very much upset and very sad, because the little one, she could not buy that bangles for the little one. So this bangle seller had gone away, hoping, of course, that he will come back again. When he comes back again, then that poor old woman will say, okay, then you just take this pot, just give me a little bit, bangles will do. But what happened was, when that bangle seller had gone away for a little while, another bangle seller came. And this time, this bangle seller was the Bodhisattva, the Buddha, in his previous birth. He was also a bangle seller. But he was a very truthful one. He was a very honest one. So he came around, and then that small girl saw that he was carrying bangles, so small girl ran to him. And he showed the bangles, and he says, and then quickly the small girl brought this bangle seller to see the grandmother. Then the grandmother again told the same story to this bangle seller, this kind bangle seller, and said that, well, I have no money to buy, but I can give you what I have here, this pot. And then this bangle seller took and looked at the pot, and he scratched a little bit, and he says, but he says, this pot that you have is gold, is pure gold. I can't afford to buy this pot of gold. And that old woman said, "You say it is gold, but do you know just now that the other bangle seller came and said that it is a worthless pot. He threw it down. He did not want to give even one bangle for this." But this second bangle seller said, "Oh no, this is real gold. I can't afford to pay you for this." Then the grandmother says, "You can take it because I cannot eat this, no? It is gold, but I cannot eat it. Gold, no?" To her, it is no use because they is just living a very simple life. What she wanted was at that time to give happiness to others, to her little granddaughter. So she told the kind bangle seller and said, "You can take this pot of gold and you can give the little child whatever bangle that it is worth." Oh, that kind bangle seller said, "I will give you all these bangles and all what I have sold, all what I have collected, because it is worth more than this, but this is all what I have. I will give you everything." So this kind and honest bangle seller gave everything to that old woman. And he took that pot and went away. He did not cheat. Now what happened? The first bangle seller, that cunning one, was waiting. And he came. After a little while, he came. This time, he came and he pretended to be very kind. And he came to this old woman and said, "I have been thinking, that your poor granddaughter may be crying to have the bangles. So I don't mind taking that pot. I will give you these few bangles. Never mind. Although it is worthless, but I will give you these few bangles. They cost more than that pot. Give me that pot." Then that old woman said, "Sorry, man. I have given the pot away and I have got in return this much of bangles and all this money that has been given by the other bangle seller. And he said that this is gold." Oh, what happened to this greedy bangle seller? He realized that he has lost his chance. He got so angry, so mad. He left everything. He left his bangles and everything and chased after that honest bangle seller. By then, the honest bangle seller had left, crossed the river bank. He got a ferry, he's got a boat, and somebody had taken him across the river. But this greedy bangle seller could not catch up with the first one. But he saw, as soon as he reached the river bank, he saw that bangle seller, the first one, carrying that pot and going away. So he was so furious. He thought he was cheated. But he was not cheated. He wanted to cheat others, no? So what happened was, he could not catch up with that honest bangle seller. So he shouted and yelled at him and says, "Come back, bring back, that is my pot." And he said, "I cannot catch you. If I cannot catch up with you now, I swear I will catch up with you, birth after birth. Even when I die, I will be reborn and I will catch up, I will chase you. That was the thought, that was the hatred, that was the grudge that was harbored by that greedy Bengal seller who was Devadatta in one of his previous births. So strong was this hatred harbored in the mind that birth after birth he harbored that hatred towards the Buddha. The honest Bengal seller was the Bodhisattva. Before he became the Buddha, as a Bodhisattva, he has strived on and on. But as he was perfecting his virtues, Devadatta tried in various ways to cause harm towards him, but he was free from harm. This is what? When one practices Dhamma, when one has Dhamma, in other words, when one has virtues, when one's life is inclined to virtues, to righteousness, that virtues, that righteousness protects you. Dhammo have rakkati dhammachari. The meaning is righteousness. Dhamma protects those who practices. The Dhamma protects one who practices the Dhamma. Dhamma protects. So don't worry. When you come for Dhamma, you have confidence in Dhamma. Dhamma will protect you. Keep your mind free. Free your mind. Anything that happens, keep your mind calm. You will be able to get out of it. But when your mind is disturbed, when there is anger and there is fear in the mind, why does fear arises? Fear arises because of clinging, because of craving, because of desire. Tanhaya jayate soko, tanhaya jayate baya. Tanhaya vipramuttasa nati soko kuto baya. Greed is the cause of suffering. Greed is the cause of fear. Remove the greed, where is the suffering, where is the fear? It is because of our attachments. Attachments to our house, attachment to our cars, attachment to everybody and everything. Then we become afraid. We have all the keys in our pocket. Car keys, door keys, room keys, and Why? Because we are afraid to lose them, no? So that is how fear arises. Fear arises why? Because we are attached. We have attachments. See the realities of life. These are the realities of life. This is how suffering and fear arises. If we can free, or at least if we can reduce that attachment, then the mind will be, for that duration that we are able to free our minds, then that mind will be free, that mind will be happy, that mind will be free from fear, free from sorrow. That is how, when we practice Dhamma, practicing Dhamma means trying to overcome, trying to reduce our craving, our attachment, our hatred, and our delusion. That is what it is about. Now, you can ask some questions. We can reserve half an hour for questions. Yes.
Women come in the form of dreams, others in the form of I would like to touch on subject woman. How do we know whether the woman is good or bad? For example, I may have something that happens with the woman. Say, they are believed that they can prove that certain time is good, prove that different time is bad. So how do we decide, alright, if it is 3 o'clock it's good, if it is 3 a.m. it's bad. How do we relate that moment to us? And then the dream. In certain cases, people interpret, if you dream of a coffee, there will be death in your family. Another group will be saying, if you dream of coffee, it is good you have luck. So how do we decide what to interpret the dream or the woman correctly?
Interpret the best way you can. The way you want to interpret, that's the best interpretation. Now, did you all hear this question? It is true. And all of you are keeping quiet, but you are, you've been keeping these things behind quietly. But all is somewhere in you also, no? That believe in omen. He said omen. Not old man, but omen. O-M-E-N, omen. Certain believe in certain sign. And it's not only, some people say those old people and those uneducated people are very superstitious and having cling to this omen and but there are many educated people, many intellectuals who also cling to omens and dreams. I think if you go to America, you will not be able, you go up the apartment, the high rise, and you will see there is no 13th floor. There is, after 12, there is 14. Because they have this belief that 13 is no good. And I told you how the group, 13 of us went to Sri Lanka and 13 of us came back in one piece. No, of course, in 13 pieces, of course. And I happened to be born according to the Chinese calendar, on the 13th day. So 13 is a good number. You see. So to some people it may be no good because May the 13th, but 13 can be good in some ways. So don't cling to that kind of beliefs. If you cling to that beliefs, then it will drive you that way. Dreams. Well, I also had bad dreams sometimes. And when I was young, whenever I had bad dreams, my grandmother said, you know how to neutralize the bad dream? How do you neutralize the bad dream? Anybody knows? I was told to go to the toilet and then tell out the dream in the toilet. It will be neutralized. I do not know. You can try that and see. But I think somehow or other it worked, In other words, it's a good way of saying, that is where that kind of belief should go, to the toilet. It is not worth considering very much. The only place that it should be told, not to anybody. Don't tell anybody. But if you want to speak, in the toilet, do that in the toilet and pass out everything. It will go down, right down, fine. All your bad luck will go down. See? Now, yes, there are of course certain signs. There are certain signs. And there are all, actually, we say these are superstition. But I'm sure that all of you will not agree if we say that it is 100% superstition. In all superstition, there is a little bit of truth, but it has been covered up. It has been covered up with all kinds of wrong beliefs and ideas. There is a little bit of truth. Like, for example, that belief that there are certain flowers, certain plants, if you grow in the home, when it flowers, it very rarely flowers. But it flowers, then you are going to boom, you are going to prosper. And if you rear certain animals, and if that animal, have multiply a lot, then it's also very good. And actually, there is a little truth in that, because when plants will grow well, certain plants especially grow very well because they are very much affected by the human, by thoughts, by the vibration that one emits. So if the family, if there is peace and there is harmony in the family, and if they are happy, then there are good vibrations in the house, then naturally that plant, which don't normally flowers, will also begin to flower. And the animals too, fishes, goldfish, and other fishes too. When there is harmony in the home, then these fishes will also be very happy, and they will give birth to many, many more. Birds also, the love birds also, will be more loving, and as a result they will multiply more. And as a result they will multiply more. So naturally, this is where there is metta, when there is loving kindness. And so if we want to interpret that sign, those signs, if we have to look out for these causes, these conditions, what are the prevailing causes and conditions? And there are some people who spend their lives interpreting signs and dreams. There are many. There is in fact a whole science. They call the science of dreams. I think I remember Chief Reverend having talked about dreams, isn't it? Good dreams and bad dreams. But the way to counter them is this. While you are dreaming, still the mind is not all the time unconscious. There is a certain fraction of conscious mind coming to play. That is why some of you can experience, when you have bad dreams, and if you are skillful enough, you can always get up and then dream again, and then this time you become the hero. Have you got this experience? I have that experience. That is why now I have no nightmares, no bad dreams, because every time I have bad dream, I will sleep again, or I'll get up and charge my battery and then go to sleep, take that dream again, and this time the Buddha come and help. Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha come and chase all those monsters. And no problem. You can also do that. Every time there is frightening dreams and fear arising in your mind, you can neutralize whatever signs that come. Actually, we all grow up with certain kind of beliefs, certain make-believes in our mind. And we must grow out of these make-believes. If we do not grow out of this, then our minds will be very caught up. Our minds cannot become free. If we are fettered, if we are hindered by such kinds of beliefs, always whenever we see something, then fear arises in our mind. This fear cripples the mind. Cripples the mind. So no matter what sign that you see, some people say if the dog come and excrete right in front of your door, it's good luck, isn't it? Right? I do not know. Do you believe in that? Have you seen? Have you got? Otherwise, you can try and see, make the dog excrete and see right in front and see what you get. And but there are many people say that, not you, I think there are quite a few people, whenever they see monks, if they want to go and play, mahjong, if they happen to see a monk on the way, they will say really sway, and they sure cannot win. Have you experienced that? You have no experience in that. I remember Chief Reverend having told a story. When he was young, and this belief is also there in Sri Lanka, that people have this belief. In Sri Lanka, there are those living along the sea, they go out to catch fish. Fishing is their livelihood. And they have also strong belief that if they are on their way to go and catch fish, or even hunt, there are hunters also. Don't think that they are all good Buddhists, no? If they go out hunting for wild boars or what, and if on the way they happen to meet monks, then they will not go. They will right about turn and go back home, because they believe no use, cannot catch anything. You cannot get any game. This is their belief. No? And so every time we see people carry gun to go for hunting, we also neutralize. We say, metta, all the animals be protected. We quickly give metta to all, so that they cannot shoot. There is something in this. also. No? There's something in this. And but it's good, isn't it? No good for them. But in a way it is good. In a way it is good. In other words, here it is the energies. There are certain energies that we cannot understand how it works. How it works. But this is what you can do. If you have any fear, and any signs that, because actually there are different ways of interpreting it. You can interpret one way, and another person somewhere else can interpret in another way. So, there is no universality in such phenomena. So don't take this phenomena too seriously. However, if it has already been implanted in your mind, and whenever you see a crow passing across your head, some people say if the crow perch on the house, is it? Bad luck, is it? You look good luck here. We have how many crows here? Every time the crow come and perch up the temple. See? Good luck. But some people don't like crows. So if you believe in that, and if you have fear arising in the mind, what should you do? You know what to do? You can neutralize that. You neutralize that with Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Seek refuge, go for refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Sometimes, when you drive, suddenly you see something and fear arises in you. Sometimes for nothing, certain fear arises in you. Overcome that fear with refuge. You can recite, those of you who have already learned, Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa, Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. You can recite that. Or you can have shortcut. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. Oh, very powerful. Any evil forces, anything, run away. You can try. If you don't believe, you can one day try to sit in the cemetery at night and test. Put this to test. Put the Dhamma to test. And then when the goose pimple come, then immediately clasp your hand and say, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. Oh, you will see, after a little while, the goose pimple go away. Yes. That is why there was one monk here, and he used to take some people to go to the cemetery and graveyards, just to put the Dhamma to test. And that is why, some monks will go out to lonely places in the caves and stay in the caves, where there are wild animals, there are snakes, and there are all kinds of wild animals. And because they want to strengthen their minds. And the only way to strengthen the mind is to confront, not to run away from them, but to confront such situation and apply the Dhamma so that you will know how to apply the Dhamma in such situation. And in fact, in the Dājagga Sutta, the Buddha mentions, anytime there is fear, anytime there is disturbance in your mind, then you can go to the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha for refuge. That is why it is worthwhile to learn certain chanting. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vichacharana sampanno, like that. These are the virtues, these are the great qualities of the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha. When you recite these virtues, and when you are able to understand them and do it with understanding, all the more your mind becomes strong. If you don't understand, never mind. It is strong, but not so much. If you can understand it, it will become very much stronger. Because by reciting this, and when you recall the great virtues of the Buddha, the great qualities, the goodness of the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha, these good thoughts, when they arise in your mind, they immediately strengthen the mind. They strengthen the mind. So the mind can remain, can be strong, cannot be toppled by outside things. But in case anybody has any experience with hunters, and there are sometimes some disturbing forces, and we have invited 2 monks to come, and they spend a rains retreat with us in Australia. They are still there. And these are monks who have lived in the forest for many years and have exposed themselves to all the wilderness, and have overcome fear. So they tell us of their experience. And there was this one occasion when he was actually confronted with some disturbing spirit coming to strangle him. So he just sat down, taking refuge, going for refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha also, sometimes it's not work at that time. And so what did he do? He had another method. First, he strengthened his mind. And then, he says, you are ghost. I too am ghost. You are a ghost. I am also a ghost. And the ghost ran away. You can try that, no? If they are not afraid of the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha, and they are not afraid of that, then you better tell them that. You are ghost, you don't think I am also ghost. They go. And actually, he tried. And it went away. It did not bother him. It did not come again to him. So, sometimes we have to apply different techniques. Because there are different kinds of ghosts, no? But don't fear them. Don't fear them. The more you are afraid, actually, many of those spirits, they don't kill you, but you kill yourself. Many people kill themselves because when they see, they already get cold and their heart stop pumping already. The fear crippled them. But when you know how to go for refuge, you strengthen your mind. It is only with strong mind that you can say, even you want to say that you are a ghost, you must have strong mind, You can say that. And they will run away. So, know how to go for refuge. Going for refuge means to seek protection, to seek guidance. So anytime when there is fear, anytime, I remember in my younger days, my parents and grandparents had the traditional shrine. We have an altar, and all the images of the different deities were there. It was only after I was ordained I introduced a Buddha there, you see. And otherwise they had all kinds of deities, but they had Kuan Yin there. And I was told to pray to them all the time. Every day, I did not miss. And but what happened was, there were times when fear arose in me. You see? And when I hear people talking about, when I see films, at that time there was not so much television. We did not even have a television, but we went, to see some film show. And when we see war films, and sometimes my grandmother used to tell me stories about the Japanese occupation. And then I begin to imagine those things, I begin to imagine, and I get dreams. And dreams of how, rockets and come and bombing and then, And in my dream, I seek refuge. You know where? Whenever I see these bombers coming, I ran, and in my dream, I ran under the table, under the shrine, under the altar table, and sat down there. And then, after that, the bomb exploded, and exploded all around, but not the table. The table did not fall. Wonderful dreams, I did not know whether I created this dream or actually this dream came because I had confidence, and because I have heard that these deities are there, they will protect you. Kuan Yin will protect you when you are in trouble. So with that confidence in mind, even the bad dreams, even in the times of bad dreams, I was protected in that dream. So continue to harbor good thoughts, continue to have confidence in the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha. You will be protected, even in your dreams. What more in your conscious life? Even when you are unconscious, you can be protected. Yes. Any other question? No question. Well, if there is no question, then we will spend a few minutes and just to calm the minds down. And it is good to learn how to calm the mind down and to free the mind from all anger and hatred by the practice of metta or loving kindness. So you can sit down comfortably, but try to keep your back upright. And place your hands right over left, one on top of each other, with open palms. You can place your hands just resting on your lap. Resting on your lap. Keep your body upright. Take a few deep breaths. Breathe in and breathe out. Now, as you breathe in and breathe out, just observe your breath as it enters and leaves the nostrils. Free your mind from all the thoughts, from all worries and fear. Forget the past. Forget the future. Just observe the present moment by bringing your attention on the breath. Breathe in, breathe out normally. As you breathe in and out, just observe the breath as it enters and leaves the nostrils. Any thoughts, any distraction that arises in the mind, as soon as you become aware of it, you will mindfully return your attention to your breath, focusing your attention around the tip of your nostrils. Keep your mind wide awake and alert. Sustain your attention on the breath. Breathe in, breathe out, and observe the breath as it enters and leaves the nostrils. Do not force your breath. Breathe naturally. You will now bring your attention to your body, keeping your body in an upright position. Breathe in, breathe out normally. As you breathe in and out, just relax your body. Feel your whole body relax. From the top of your head, from the scalp, right down to the tip of your toes. Just relax your body. That may this body be free from ill health, free from sufferings. May it experience calm and peace. May this whole body be free from ill health, free from sufferings. May it experience calm and peace. In the same manner, you will now recall to mind all your religious teachers, if you have any, wherever they may be, that may all your religious teachers, may they be free from ill health, free from sufferings. May they have calm and peace. May all our religious teachers be well and happy. In the same manner, you will now recall to mind of your parents, mother and father, those who are living, wherever they are now, that may all your parents, be free from ill health, free from sufferings. May they have calm and peace. May all our parents be well and happy. Now extend your thoughts to all your brothers and sisters and all the other members of your family, relatives and friends, wherever they may be, far or near. May they all be free from ill health, free from sufferings. May they have calm and peace. May all our brothers and sisters and all the other members of our family, relatives, friends, and whoever that comes to our mind, may they all be well and happy. May they be free from harm, free from danger. May they be well and happy. You will now once again return your attention to your body, keeping your body in an upright position. Breathe in, breathe out normally. As you breathe in and out, just relax your body. Get into a deeper level of relaxation. Feel the whole body from the top of your head right down to the tip of your toes. Just relax your body. That may this body be free from ill health, free from sufferings. May it experience calm and peace. You will now radiate your thoughts of loving kindness in all the directions, above, below, and all around you, filling this whole hall, whole room with your thoughts of loving kindness, that all who are gathered here, known or unknown to us, seen or unseen, may all be well and happy. May all be free from ill health, free from sufferings. May all experience calm and peace. Fill this whole room with your thoughts of loving kindness. Going beyond the confines of this room to the whole temple premises, all those who reside within this temple premises, known or unknown to us, seen or unseen, all that dwells in the air, in the open space, on land, in the waters, may they all be well and happy. May they be free from harm, free from danger. May they live happily. Keep on radiating your thoughts of loving kindness, going beyond the confines of this temple premises to all the surrounding areas, all the neighborhood, and to as far as your mental vibrations can reach, covering the whole capital territory, the whole of Kuala Lumpur, that all those residing within the capital territory, known or unknown to us, seen or unseen, may they be well, may they be happy, may they be free from harm, free from danger. Going beyond the capital territory to as far as your mental vibrations can reach, covering the whole country, that all those who reside within this country, known or unknown, seen or unseen, all that dwells in the air, on land, in the waters, may they all be well and happy. May they be free from anger, free from enmity, may they be free from ill health, free from sufferings. May they have calm and peace. You will now spend the next few minutes, breathe in, breathe out normally. As you breathe in and out, just radiate out your thoughts of loving kindness from within, spread out, send out your energy, mental vibration in all the directions. Feel your mental vibrations radiating out, filling this whole room. Going beyond the confines of this room to as far as your mental vibrations can reach, that may all beings be well and happy. All beings be well and happy. Bhatu Sappa Mangalang Rakkantu Sappa Devata Sabba Buddhanubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sappa Mangalang Rakkantu Sappa Devata Sabba Dhammanubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sappa Mangalang Rakkantu Sappa Devata Sabba Sanghanubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te. May all be well and happy. You will now slowly return your attention to your body. Take a few deep breaths. Breathe in and breathe out. And slowly open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling calm and peaceful. Slowly open your eyes and be wide awake, and mindfully relax yourself. Yes. Yes, calm down your minds. You will feel good. When your mind is calm, you are peaceful. And try to maintain. In order to maintain this state of mind, the free mind, the mind that is calm, the mind with metta, with loving kindness, in order to maintain this state of mind, it is important to practice again and again, again and again, little by little. Even if you can spend a few minutes a day, in the morning, in the evening, and when you are free, you can practice this. And any time that you hear any tension, you can neutralize this tension. Radiate your thoughts of loving kindness and spread it out. That when you bring more people, and if people begin to free their minds from anger and cherish loving kindness in the mind, then this is how we can free ourselves from conflicts in the mind. When the mind is free from conflict, the mind is good, the mind is good, the mind is strong. When the mind is strong, then we can cherish certain good thoughts. We can direct our thoughts. We can make certain resolution. We can make certain aspiration. Sometimes some people call this vow. We call it aspiration. To make certain aspiration with a strong mind, then when you make an aspiration, saying in your mind that by the goodness, by these meritorious actions that I have done, that may these merits accrue unto my well-being and happiness, then may I be well, may I be protected, may all the members of my family be protected, and may all beings, not only just to confine to your family, but also try to extend out, try to build up, reach out a bigger circle, a bigger family circle, to those that you know, even to those that you do not know, to those that love you, to those, even to those that who are hostile to you. Eventually, your practice of metta should reach out to all of them with equanimity, So practice metta with wisdom mind, so that you can have that peace of mind, and in that peace of mind, that you will be able to overcome whatever problems that confront you, whatever sickness that you have. You can use your mind by strengthening your mind, by learning to relax your mind. When you can relieve your mind from grief, from attachment, and slowly you can learn to detach your mind from your body. In other words, not to cling to this body, so that eventually when the body is sick, your mind will not be sick. Your mind can be free from sickness once and for all. So this is actually the purpose for the study and the practice of Dhamma. The whole teachings of the Buddha revolves around the teachings of how to avoid evil, how to do good, and how to purify the mind. When the mind is purified, the mind is strong, the mind is bright, the mind is lustre, brilliance of the mind. You can use this bright, you can use this clear mind, this pure mind, to see the true nature of your life, of mental and physical phenomena. Seeing the true nature of mind and body, you will see that everything is subject to change. our mind change, our body to change. Whatever is changing is not satisfactory. Whatever is changing and not satisfactory is devoid of anything permanent. There is no self. It is non-self. Realizing this, realizing the nature of change, realizing the nature of unsatisfactoriness and non-self, the mind will be free. The mind will free itself from all sufferings. So, be diligent, practice this religion with wisdom and understanding. Then you will be able to grow in wisdom and compassion. That you will be able to make use of this life more efficiently. That you can put this life into good use. You'll be able to help yourself and help others to overcome their sufferings here and now, paving the way, of course, for the ultimate eradication of all sufferings. May you all, by your interest in Dhamma, by the meritorious actions that you have done, may you have greater confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and through this confidence, may your mind be strengthened. May you be able to overcome whatever problems, whatever sickness that confronts you. Eventually, may you be able to free your mind and attain the state of bliss and happiness, Nibbana. Good health and peace to all. Oh yes, since you are not gone, you are not in a hurry to go, I have one announcement to make. That this time I'm just passing through, but I'll be here until the 5th, and before I go to Johor and Penang, and then we'll be back here to Seremban and Malacca, and then to Singapore. We still have quite a number of vacancies. I actually came back for the Novitiate Programme, and the Novitiate Programme, as some of you may already know, is from the 5th of December until the 20th, for 14 days. And this is the 12th, is that right? This is the 12th annual Novitiate Programme, and those of you who have some interest and you can apply. It's still not too late. I think the closing date is November the 11th, but the sooner you apply, the better. Because from all previous years, from our experience in previous years, we find that always in the last minute there is a rush. And those of you who have got good sons, good daughters, you can. Well, if you are not prepared to give them for life, and you can give them for 2 weeks, and some elders too can come in, so this is one way, all your bad luck can go away, but don't come just because of that, no? Then we will be having a lot of bad lucks around. And come with good mind, and so that you can learn more systematically what the Dhamma is about, and effectively so that you will be able to give the Dhamma to others too. And this is what over the years, over the 11 years, we see those who have, after they have joined the Novitiate Programme, they have gone back and become better husbands, better wives, and better children. And they go in various parts of the country and they have become very useful, serving the religious, the spiritual needs of the community. So you too can be one of them and take the interest, and that you can be able to give the Dhamma. Giving the Dhamma, don't think that, oh, you cannot speak, you cannot talk, you are afraid to talk in public. It does not mean to say that giving the Dhamma means just to have to talk in the public and to teach others by speaking. You can give the Dhamma by sitting down quietly too, by your silence, and with your metta, with your karuna, mudita, upekha, by your silence, by noble silence too, you can. By having peace of mind, you can give peace to others. So please cherish the peace within you, so that you will be able to give peace to others, and be able to give confidence to others. So, good health.